charged with might, eyes like fire, hearts alight. Drums of war beat through the night. Victory, oh what a sight. Oh brave souls in the storm, raise your swords, no more to mourn. Giant hearts in battles born, legends forged and never torn.
Ikiesha Al-Shabazz, fighting a lawyer, fabulous lawyer. She fought 7 years for her mother, Janet, against the Social Security Administration because her mother was disabled after serving all these years. She's a law professor. She is just a great attorney. She's a badass, okay? And that's why I'm wearing a badass jacket. But also, she said, I don't know how to do this, but she had to go to federal court, everybody, okay? This is what the system's become. This is why people hate the system. When you have a lawyer who has to fight for her mom, who gave her whole life to working, and then can't even be recognized. Ikiesha, I'll let you tell the story about your mom, Janet. Welcome. We are so happy to have you. I'm so happy to see you. I'm going to say Happy New Year to you because I'm sure that decision was a Happy New Year decision.
Yes. Happy New Year. Thank you for having me. Nice to meet you, Mike.
Likewise. Yeah. So tell us who the villain was and how it all unfolded.
Okay. So the villain was actually my mother's former employer. So she worked for 30 years for the Social Security Administration. And during her time there, she suffered a stroke. She thought she'd be able to go back to work after the first stroke, suffered another stroke, and was forced to retire. She was not of retirement age, so she applied for disability. That's when she was denied. And that started our 7-year battle for her disability benefits. That culminated in the decision that we received at the end of December, like December 27th, 28th, which gave her a favorable decision in its entirety and entitled her to back pay for most of all of those years.
Okay, so let's back up here.
Right, you back up, right, yeah.
Let's back up. She worked for the Social Security Administration.
Yes.
And they denied her disability. What there had to be some very
under Social Security,
well-reasoned,
right? Under Social Security, they denied.
Yeah, disability under Social Security.
Yes, under Social Security.
So what was their well-reasoned rejection?
That she was not disabled.
That was
that even though she had documented medical records from not only her neurologist, from a neurologist specialist, she had MRIs and imaging that showed she had cerebral vascular injury, which is what is the category. And the judge said, the first judge that denied her, he said, the medical records seem to suggest that she does have the injuries, but she testified that she drives. But she never did. She didn't though. But she didn't. She never said that.
Lied.
See, and that's the thing. It's I don't know if that's a part of implicit bias where there are some white people who think, black people, you guys are extra strong. There's no way that you're disabled. Right? That happens in the medical industry, but it also happens in other industries, right? And I don't know what part of that made him hear her say that. But of course, there's a transcript. So part of my appeal just to within the administrative process, right? Because you can't go to federal court until you exhaust your administrative remedies. So part of my asking them to review this at the appeals council stage was to read the transcript, listen to the audio, because it was during COVID. So it was over audio. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he didn't hear things properly. They didn't do anything. They didn't listen to anything. They just summarily denied that appeal, right? So that took 4 years just to exhaust the administrative remedies.
That's how long it took?
I did not file for relief in federal court until May of 2021. So we were in federal court for 2 years. That got remanded back. And then the hearing on the remand from federal court was May 2023 in front of the same damn judge.
The judge who denied the benefits to begin with, hearing something
yes.
that they didn't hear.
Yes.
By the way, Ike, before we go on, to give us your handle on Twitter, because I know there was a thread unrolled all on this too.
Yes.
If you want to go back. What is your handle?
I think it's ATTY. Ikie Speaks, SPEAK. I think it's that. But if you look up Ike Speaks, you'll find it. Okay, good. I just know. I tell everybody Ike Speaks, you'll find it under Ikie Speaks. Ike Speaks. So I think that's it. But yeah, so it was a very long battle.
Then what happened? Then what happened? He's the same judge. You get him
Same
off?
judge. So no, I at this point, because part of during this process, he had made comments about my presence. He had made comments about the claimant's daughter is a lawyer. And the way he said it was a bit.
Social Security lawyer.
I know, but the way it rubbed him, it didn't sit well with him. So I did not want to go back in there. So I got a friend of mine who's also an attorney, and he went in for me. And at this juncture, the judge looks at my mom. He's like, "Oh, she's clearly disabled. And in fact, we're going to dispense with the vocational expert, which, they typically call in to say whether or not there are any employment in the marketplace. Oh, we don't even need to have the vocational expert. Oh, great. I'm thinking great. The lawyer's like, I don't even need to call you. He doesn't even need to hear testimony from you to say what's going on. Nothing. Okay, good. We wait. I'm thinking we got a shoe in now. We're good. Right? He knows I'll go to court. He's not going to. So 6 months after that, I'm like, where's the decision? This is the end of 24. I'm thinking we don't have. He sends us a letter saying, I'm going to rely on a vocational specialist now. Here's his CV. And if you have any objections, let me know. We'll have another hearing. We'll have another hearing, Linda.
Another hearing?
Another hearing, because I'm entitled to cross-examine the vocational expert that you dispensed with at the hearing. So now we got to have another hearing. And I'll tell you, every hearing they schedule, there's at least a 4 to 6 window for how they schedule it. So luckily there was another judge. I got another judge, some by the grace of God. I got another judge before that next hearing came, and she stepped in and she looked at all of this and said, I don't know what the hell is going on. But this woman is disabled, and she issued a 12-page decision, and she literally blasted the experts that said my mom was not disabled. She pointed to all of the medical documentation, every exhibit that demonstrates that she is not only disabled, but all of the symptoms as a result of her disability that she can and cannot do, that she can't ambulate, she can't stand, that she can't walk without a cane. These are the things that were already in the medical records. But
I have a question. I have a question. What would your mom have done if you hadn't been her daughter?
She would have gotten nothing. She would have given up a long time ago. She would have gotten nothing.
So what? Tell us about that moment when, Mom, guess what? How did that go?
Well, the first denial, we get the letter in the mail, and I'm like, Mom, they denied you. And she just was like, they denied it? And she just crashed, like her whole world crumbled, and I was like, okay, don't worry, we'll appeal. This is 2020, this is 2017, 2018. At that point, we'll appeal. And then every time I just said, Mom, we're going to keep fighting. I just want to give her hope, let her know, we're going to keep fighting. Denial after denial after denial, schlepping her up to the courthouse so that she could have a hearing in person. Because I'm like, the phone doesn't do it. You need to see her. And even that wasn't enough.
Okay, so now you get the final decision. This new judge looks at it and says, what the hell's going on here? Let's do the right thing. And then you have that conversation. Tell us about that. So
when we finally get the decision, and I'm like, they finally, you see me smiling because it's been a long road. Finally, we just hugged. I cried. I'm not going to kid you. I cried because it was like, the culmination of all the work, all the stress, all the frustration of just trying to be heard, to finally be validated in that moment. And I don't know that she was there with me in it, but she wasn't writing the motion. She wasn't doing the litigating, that part. She didn't get to feel what that was like, so I don't know that she appreciated that side of it, but she was definitely thankful and relieved that this battle is now over.
And if it's you, it's got to be other people. I mean, Michael and I talked about this week. We were talking about we want to do a person of the week, a true crime person of the week. It doesn't have to be true crime. It can be whatever.
This was a crime, though, in my opinion. This was
I agree. I agree.
But you're not the criminal, and neither is your mom.
Right. But what they were doing was definitely a crime.
What they were doing was absolutely crime, and that's what people don't understand. That's why this whole United Healthcare, even though it was a homicide, that's that's why it's resonated with people, because
So
everyone
many
feels
people.
they have no say in their care, their health
Right.
care, their benefits.
Yeah.
And this is a perfect example of that.
And it resonated. You know, a friend of mine said you should share your story because this has been a private hell. I didn't want to share it for fear that, you know, some judge would be like, yeah, you want to share it? Okay, I'll show you, right? So private hell. And I have a YouTube channel with, you know, 12,000 subscribers, and I had been able to share this. So it's good now to be able to talk about it. And so when I did share it, it blew up 14 million.
Good for you. Good for your mom,
insane.
Janet, and good for you. And people have to understand, Ikiesha is a well-known attorney. She's a law professor. Her husband's a retired New York City police officer. Right?
Okay. He was my fiance. He's not around anymore.
Well, he was. Okay.
He was.
But what I'm saying to you that you are a normal life, working hard, normal family, and you go through this shit.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, because your mom was lucky enough to have you there and your expertise. And obviously, you know, there's a myth that when you walk out of law school, you know all kinds of law, every level, every court, which is crazy. You know, it's like you barely get a driver's license, you know, and then you learn the rest on the way. So, but to have you with your legal background to help, is there another source out there for people that might have similar problems?
I don't know, but I plan to look into it and try as hard as I can to be that source, right? To use my platform to inform people. I didn't know that this was an issue in the way it is. I didn't know, right? So you don't know until you have to be confronted with something, you know? And so based on that tweet, I see thousands and thousands of people commenting who are having the same dilemma, having the same experience, and they don't have a daughter who's a lawyer, right? If I can be of service in that way, I want to be able to. So I'm going to use this to try to inform people. I call myself a legal informationalist, right? This is not legal advice, but information is power. It's power, right?
And so also your mom had lucky to have a family that supported her through this, through the 7 years. What if she didn't have her benefits? I mean, I wanted to throw up when I read this, when I read the story. And I know Michael's going to cut this piece of the segment so we can play it separately afterwards.
Yes, we will.
Separately, because the more you talk about it, I just can't. You know, I have no words. Again, I have no words for what's going on.
Right, because this is when you get to this level of the appellate process, I think the success rate is somewhere between 2 and 8%.
Oh wow!
So almost nil, because they give so much deference to the administrative law judge's decision.
Yeah. And their decision seems to be default denied.
Right.
You know?
Exactly. Yeah.
Make me change my mind. Denied.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow. So how's mom today? Right now, how's she doing?
Mom's spirits are good. She's good. My mother is a walking miracle throughout this process. She had 2 more strokes, so she's had 4 strokes in total. But she still can, you know, get around on her own. She, you know, with the use of her cane, and she still can, and she's still here. That's, you know, she's still here. And I'm very grateful for that, because a lot of people die waiting for their disability benefits. And I think that's part of their calculations, is that when you'll either give up or you'll die.
Yep.
Right. And so I'm very grateful that she I think she was too stubborn to die. She's like, they're gonna give me this money.
She's got love from you, and she's got obviously God on her side, and between the 4 of you together. I mean, and also, you know, God bless the judge who finally came through.
Yes. This is not right. And so I'm going to do more on my channel and get more specifics and show some of the decisions, you know, without revealing too much. And I'm going to let them know who the judges are.
Good. Where can everybody find you? Where can we find you?
So right here on YouTube, Ike Speaks.
Ike Speaks. And let us know and tag us, so we'll retweet everything that you try to do with regard to this, because you have to get that information out through all of your sources, friends and all. Even if Norfolk County, I'll go back to Massachusetts, does not think that YouTube is a real media.
YouTube, very much real media. They need to catch up. Yes. For real.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much
what a
for
great way to
having me.
launch this this new feature. Well deserved.
honored.
Keep fighting the good fight.
you.
Anybody
Thank you.
working with you is very lucky to have you in their corner. I'll tell you
Thank
that.
you.
I'm so
Thank
proud
you.
to have met Ike when we were at Law and Crime, and
Yes,
just
yes.
bonded
Always
with
a
her
fun thing over there.
immediately,
Yes,
and
we always have a good time over there.
just love her, and just look her up.
Thank
Right.
you. Thank you,
Thanks.
guys. Thank you so
Take
much.
care.
Thank you
All
very
right,
much.
take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.